Welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal channel. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. The transfer window is changing. It's getting a little bit more exciting than we predicted. Arsenal have had an agreement to join us this summer in a $5 million deal. Arsenal will then proceed to talk to Chelsea and get the deal done. But KEPA has agreed to join Arsenal as a second choice goalkeeper after Arsenal missing out on Joan Garcia. We're going to be talking about this deal. A couple of people, I'm actually surprised that a few people are actually saying that KEPA is not a good buy because it's a Chelsea reject. In my opinion, I don't think Arsenal are signing KEPA as a first choice goalkeeper, and having KEPA as a second choice goalkeeper, in my opinion, is one of the best deals that could ever happen to your club. If he was going to Manchester City as a second choice goalkeeper, that would have been a good deal. If he was going to Liverpool as a second choice goalkeeper, that would have been a very good deal. So why is he coming to Arsenal as a second choice goalkeeper? And that is not a good deal. I'm going to explain why I think it's a very good deal, in my opinion. $5 million. They bought him for $75 million. Arsenal are getting him for $5 million. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel as well. Talk to me in the comment box below. How do you feel about Arsenal getting KEPA Agrees this summer as a second choice goalkeeper? Do you think he's a bad goalkeeper? He's been at Bournemouth the last campaign. And for me, he had a very, very decent campaign. I'm actually surprised that Bournemouth are not trying to sign him on a long-term deal. Possibly that is because Bournemouth want a younger goalkeeper. They want someone they can bring in and maybe get some good money for later. But for me, $5 million for KEPA Agrees, that is a very, very good deal. Now, the story was broken by James McNicholas. You can call him the Ghana bloke, reporting for The Athletic, reporting that Arsenal have made Chelsea's KEPA Agrees as their main target as they seek to recruit a backup goalkeeper this summer to David Raya. Shortly after that, Fabrizio Romano as well came in with a banger, and he confirmed that Arsenal are moving quietly but yet decisively. Talks are advancing to bring in Chelsea goalkeeper KEPA Agrees this summer. The Spaniard has been informed of his role, clear second choice goalkeeper behind David Raya, and he's accepted it. No drama, just professionalism. A $5 million release clause is existing at the moment. Arsenal are prepared to match it. It's a low risk deal. Move for highly experienced goalkeeper. Personal terms now being ironed out. No major issues. Both sides are aligned. Arteta sees KEPA as a solid, no-nonsense deputy who can step in when needed in terms of experience and, of course, experiments as well. That is where we stand with KEPA Agrees. Arsenal 100% signing KEPA this summer, and it is a very good deal. Now, I want to say this. Obviously, KEPA was not Arsenal's number one choice. He wasn't our number one choice. We know that. And if you don't want him, if you don't like him because he ultimately wasn't our number one choice, then maybe I understand you. Maybe you're the kind of guy that wants Arsenal to get the number one priority in each and every position in the summer. Well, that might not happen, right? Arsenal wanted Joan Garcia, but there were few reservations on that deal. There were few conditions for me that didn't make sense on that deal. And Andre Bata said, we can't do this deal. It's a deal that doesn't make any sense. Mikel Arteta wanted Joan Garcia. He's a young goalkeeper. I think he's around 23, 24. He's one of the best goalkeepers in Europe right now. And definitely for me, the best goalkeeper in La Liga last year, right? So if you ask me, was I okay with Arsenal signing Joan Garcia? Absolutely. Such a very good goalkeeper, a gem of a talent. But bringing in Joan Garcia at the moment would cost Arsenal two things. Number one, he was going to cost Arsenal 26 million. Okay, 21 million euros, which is million pounds, which is around 26 million euros. In a summer where you can't waste a lot of money, in a summer where you have to reinforce on attacking talent, and we know attacking talent are very expensive. Look at Mbeumo, he's going for over 60 million euros. Matthias Cunha is going for over 70 million euros. And Šeško is going for over 80 million euros. Arsenal need money, and we've got to spend it well. And I disagree with people who think, well, Arsenal have a lot of money these days. Yes, we have a lot of money, but you just can't spend it, right? So Andrea Barter's concern was my concern as well. Why would you spend 26 million euros on a backup goalkeeper? Yes, he's generational talent. Yes, he's a very good goalkeeper. But David Raya is just 27, 28. He's going to be here for the next 5 years. That is ample time, enough time for you to find a good goalkeeper, right? For if you're going to find a replacement for Raya, you have 6 years for you to do that. Liverpool have done it very well. They've had Alisson Becker for quite some time, and by the time they're like, Alisson is getting older, they have signed Mamadashvili at the right time. So for me, yes, 26 million euros on Joan Garcia. It didn't make any sense at a time when Arsenal needed a striker, at a time when Arsenal needed a left winger, at a time when Arsenal needed a backup right winger. For you to spend 26 million euros on a, I don't want to call it an area of less priority, because we were told by James McNicholas, was it just McNicholas? Really? I think it was, that Mikel Arteta really prioritizes the psychology in the goalkeeping department, right? So it's an area of priority, and that's why Mikel Arteta wanted to go for a very good goalkeeper, and this is why KEPA Agrees to Arsenal for 5 million ticks all the boxes and makes a lot of sense. So let's talk about KEPA as a player. Experienced goalkeeper, there is no doubt about the talent, I tell you. Would you rather David Raya gets injured? Let's say David Raya gets injured. Would you rather KEPA in goal or Nobato Neto that we have had from Bournemouth on loan in goal? Which goalkeeper would you actually rather have to back up David Raya in a game, right, that is important, but Raya is unavailable? Let's say Raya gets a red card in the UEFA Champions League final. Would you rather have Neto, or would you rather have KEPA? For me, KEPA all day. And I watch Spain, and I support Spain. And Spain have been very, very lucky that we've got a huge talent of goalkeepers coming through. You have Unai Simon, who's now Spain's number 1. David Raya, who's technically Spain's number 2. And then, of course, you've got KEPA, who's number 3, if you want to call it that. But without the presence of Unai Simon, KEPA is the number 1 at Spain, and I don't think Spain would have retarded if KEPA was in goal. The thing is, KEPA is a talented goalkeeper. He's a very, very good goalkeeper, and Arsenal are getting a very good deal in an experienced goalkeeper. Goalkeepers don't get worse with age; they actually get better with age. Remember Wojciech Szczesny, guys. Remember Wojciech Szczesny. When Szczesny was at Arsenal, we knew he was a talented goalkeeper. We knew there was talent in there. And at some point in time, Arsene Wenger made him our number 1 goalkeeper, our number 1 choice. But what happened was he was young and he was prone to making mistakes, and those mistakes were costing the team. So Arsenal decided to move on from Wojciech Szczesny, right? But right now, Szczesny, top goalkeeper. Absolutely top goalkeeper. The same with Ban Leno, the same with Emi Martinez, right? I think if we were told Arsenal are signing Ban Leno right now as second choice goalkeeper, everyone would say, wow, Premier League proven, he's experienced, he's the right age, around 30, he's not going to be pushing to start for maybe a major club. That is a settled man. That is a good deal. That is exactly the same with KEPA. Honestly, he's the same with KEPA. He's been at Real Madrid, I think, and challenged, right? He's been at Atletico Madrid. He's been at Chelsea. Look at the profile of this guy, for Christ's sake. Look at the profile of this guy. I think it makes sense for us to go for him. I think it makes sense for Arsenal to have KEPA as a second choice goalkeeper. Premier League proven. He's won things on Europe. He's a winner, and he is older than Raya. He can compete with Raya. And he's a goalkeeper that I can trust. That's why I wanted Joan Garcia. That's why I was very open with Joan Garcia. Apart from the price, he's a goalkeeper that you can trust. That even without your first choice goalkeeper, yes, you can get real quality. And I think Arsenal are getting that with KEPA. Now, personal terms are not going to be an issue. For me, this is a deal that should be happening very, very quickly. Maybe this week, we should be getting a here we go from Fabrizio Romano. We should be getting that David Ornstein bomber in terms of the deal being done. Arsenal, the other thing I want to say with our two Arsenal fans, why are we panicking? For black sake, it is 9 days into the window, and everyone is panicking, and everyone feels like, oh, Arsenal have not done any business. Why are we panicking? It is 9 days into the window. 9 good days, right? We still have, it's 90 days that we have to work with. We have how many to go? 81 days. Arsenal will sign a striker. Arsenal will sign a backup goalkeeper. Arsenal will sign a left winger. Arsenal will sign and more other players, right? So calm down. Do not panic. It is going to happen. Now, of course, before KEPA was agreed upon, Arsenal were looking at other goalkeepers. And I just want to compare KEPA with other goalkeepers that Arsenal were looking at and see whether we've got the right deal. The first one, obviously, was Jean Garcia. Now, the advantages of Jean Garcia are, if Arsenal signed Jean Garcia, we wouldn't have to sign a number one goalkeeper in the next 5 years. Hear me out. So, Jean Garcia is a young goalkeeper. He's quite young. I think he's 22, 23. In the next 5 years, he's about 27, 28. And in the next 5 years, David Raya is getting older and older and older, right? I think in the next 5 years, David Raya would be around 32 or 33. So, Jean Garcia, 100%, would allow you to have two first-choice goalkeepers just backing up each other, right? And maybe in the next 4 years, Jean Garcia would become Arsenal's number one. Now, I don't see KEPA becoming Arsenal's number one at any point in time, unless there is a bad injury to David Raya, unless there is a bad season to David Raya. The advantages of having KEPA over Jean Garcia are clear. It's a simple deal. It's a very cheap deal. And I don't think David Raya is going to be under massive pressure from KEPA that he's going to lose his position to him, unless there is a big drop in form. But with Jean Garcia, it would have created that tension that we had between Ramsdale and Raya. I don't think you want that. I think you want your goalkeeper to be settled. I think you want your goalkeeper to feel trusted. And I think Mikel Arteta trusts David Raya, and I trust David Raya, and Europe trusts David Raya, and you lot trust David Raya as well. So for me, KEPA is a much better deal to Jean Garcia. In a way, it is not going to destabilize our first-choice goalkeeper. It's not going to destabilize our number one, who is definitely one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. 100%, I agree. Let's keep KEPA over Jean Garcia. It's a cheaper deal. We can spend that money elsewhere. That is number one. The second deal Arsenal were looking at was the goalkeeper at is it at Feyenoord? Yeah, is it Feyenoord? Yeah, Feyenoord, right? And we actually talked about him last summer. What is his name? I'm forgetting his name. I'm just forgetting his name. Hopefully it comes back. And then Andrea Lunin at Madrid. I don't know, but I kind of feel like Lunin is first choice material. I look at his age, I look at his profile. He's been at Madrid obviously as a second choice goalkeeper, but I kind of feel like he wants to be a number one rather than a number two, in my opinion, right? But Lunin would have been a very good second choice goalkeeper. Again, he's a guy that you can trust in the absence of your first choice goalkeeper. You can trust him 100%. So Lunin, right there, I think he's an interesting choice, in my opinion. He's a very, very interesting choice. But of course, we're not going to sign him. If I was to compare him to KEPA, I think Lunin would push to be number one. Yeah, I think he would push to be number one. But I kind of feel like Raya for me at the moment is untouchable in this Arsenal setup. There was talk of Nick Pope, but I don't think really. I think Nick Pope is gonna stay number one at Newcastle for some time. They will get a number one goalkeeper maybe later on, but I don't see them replacing Nick Pope. So Kepa Arrizabalaga could be the one coming into Arsenal. How are we feeling about this? Let me know in the comment box below, and more of these stories coming your way.